good tree is going to look like, it's going to be about to like this depth right here. You don't want to go past the second whorl. As you get into that greener part of the stem, as it goes up and it's away from that like woody, harder bark down at the bottom, it's gonna like rot the tree if it gets too soft in the soil. So you don't want to go too high, but you also don't want to be too low, because if you planted it, say like just 1 inch higher, that soil moisture line is going to drop as the summer and the heat continues on. So the water's going to like go lower and lower down the roots. So you want that tree to have a good amount of depth. You also don't want it too shallow too, because with the winds picking up too, it'll move the tree around and then it'll space out that soil. So you really do want to put like good, like 2 to 3 fingers of depth from the top of the root collar into the ground. So no, you don't want it shallow, you don't want to see any roots coming out, but you don't want it past that second whorl around the top of the tree, okay? They need to do a scalp, meaning they need to clear around the entire area to mineral soil before the tree is planted. Or I mean, just every single tree is required to have it. A good idea of the size of that is the size of your hard hat kind of putting down. So all you need to do for that scalp is you just need to clear away just a little bit of mineral soil. It's only like 2 to 3 scrapes, like this whole area will be clear. Now you want to plant your tree right in the middle, but the way you pop open your hole, if you start with your shovel in the middle, the tree's going to be ended up closer to being planted at the back. So you want to be a little bit closer to the front of your scalp. Okay, so the shovel's in at the full depth. I usually go in one like that, and then once it's kind of open, kind of have the blade pointed a little bit like towards the back to open up a nice pocket straight towards the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push away from me and pop all the soil right here up, creating a large pocket for those roots to go in that I can then stomp down really easily. But if I have the shovel straight up and down this way, the angle of my roots coming in are going to be at the angle of the shovel, making the tree start to lean as it grows over time. You want those roots to ideally be perfectly straight up and down. So after I make that hole, I'll do one more kind of back at an angle towards it, just opening it up a little bit more. And then all I'm going to do is fully pop open that hole, okay? So I'm going to leave the shovel in so that dirt doesn't fall back into that hole I just opened. And then with one hand, I'm going to hold the tree, kind of hold up the root, that lower collar. I'll get the roots kind of all facing down. So I'll leave it here. I'll bring my hand around the back side of the shovel and kind of bring it to my shoulder, pull up, and flick the roots in so they're pointing down. Now I'll just make sure the roots are nice and straight. Then pull out, backfill a little bit of that in, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of that tree and pull it up just a little bit slightly so it's not bent down at the bottom and those roots go nice and straight. And then I'll fill in that soil up front, okay? So that would be one tree. Once you have that tree planted, and so you know it's tight and it's not loose, because an elk, if a tree's loose, an elk will pull that tree right out of the ground. Same with the deer. So you just kind of grab those top needles, and you just give it like a gentle little tug. If you pull off some needles, you're good. You're not ripping out the tree. You're not pulling off that terminal bud. You're just kind of grabbing a couple and making sure it's not pulling up on you. So you open that up. I'll do one more towards the back again. Okay, pop that hole open. So this is a more ideal root. They're nice and straight, pointed down, kind of narrow. So that's a good root system. Again, grabbing up high, kind of holding on to the back of the shovel, and then just filling in. A lot of dirt kind of just fell in there, so I'll just do it again. Backfilling that hole. So notice I'm grabbing the shovel. You can do it this way. I like it right here and kind of have it resting against the back of my shoulder. If you have a little bit more stability, kind of pull that, grab that tree, pull it up a little bit so it's not too deep, and then stomp in that dirt.